Hi scholars, Mrs. Cromartie here with the second part of our point of view lesson, and we are going to jump right in. Before we begin reading the passage, which I introduced to you all in the previous video, let's go ahead and think about a question. From which point of view is this story being told? And why? I want you to think about this question as we read the story and leave your answer in the comment section. Now, before we begin reading, I do want to say that the story is pretty lengthy, so feel free to read it again at your own pace. However, this is going to be an opportunity for us to practice reading together, and then, as we already know, strong readers reread everything that they read so that they can read for understanding, okay? So the title of this passage is The Steadfast Tin Solider. Repeat. Very good. And this is an excerpt from the Yellow Fairy book edited by Andrew Lang. There were once upon a time 25 tin soldiers, all brothers, as they were made out of the same old tin spoon. Tin is a material that looks similar to silver, and it's used to make spoons and dishware. Their uniform was red and blue, and they shouldered their guns and looked straight in front of them. The first words that they heard in this world, when the lid of the box in which they lay was taken off, were, "Hurrah, tin soldiers!" This was exclaimed by a little boy, clapping his hands. They had been given to him because it was his birthday. And now he began setting them out on the table. Each soldier was exactly like the other in shape, except just one, who had been made last when the tin had run short. Your turn. There were many other playthings on the table on which they were being set out, but the nicest of all was a pretty little castle made of cardboard with windows through which you could see into the rooms. We're going to pause there for a moment. If you're not tracking as I'm reading, please take this as an opportunity to make sure that you're following along. In front of the castle stood some little trees surrounding a tiny mirror which looked like a lake. Wax swans were floating about and reflecting themselves in it. That was all very pretty, but the most beautiful thing was a little lady who stood in the open doorway. Your turn. Muslin, with a scarf of narrow blue ribbon round her shoulders, fastened in the middle with a glittering rose made of gold paper. Your turn. The little lady was stretching out both her arms, for she was a dancer, and was lifting up one leg so high in the air that the tin soldier couldn't find it anywhere, and thought that she, too, had only one leg. If we recall, the tin soldier only has one leg. "That's the wife for me," he thought. Your turn. This is no place for her, but I must make her acquaintance. That means to meet someone. Then he stretched himself out behind a snuff box that lay on the table. From thence he could watch the dainty little lady, who continued to stand on one leg without losing her balance. When the night came, all the other tin soldiers went into their box, and the people of the house went to bed. Your turn. The tin soldiers rattled in their box, for they wanted to be out too. But they could not raise the lid. The nutcrackers played at leapfrog, and the slate pencil ran about the slate. There was such... We're going to turn to the next page now. A noise that the canary woke up and began to talk to them. In poetry, too. The only two who did not stir from their places were the tin soldier and the little dancer. She remained on the tiptoe with both arms outstretched. He stood steadfastly. That means he just stood there on his one leg, never moving his eyes from her face. Your turn. Off flew the lid of the snuff box, but there was no snuff inside, only a little black imp. That was the beauty of it. Hello, tiny soldier, said the imp. Don't look at things that aren't intended for the likes of you. But the tin soldier took no notice and seemed not to hear. Very well, wait till tomorrow, said the imp. When it was morning and the children had got up, the tin soldier was put in the window. And whether it was the wind or the little black imp, I don't know. But all at once the window flew open and out fell the tin soldier head over heels from the 3rd story window. Your turn. The nursery maid and the little boy came down at once to look for him. But though they were so near him that they could almost trod on him, they did not notice him. So they were so close to him that they could almost trod or step on him, but they did not see him. They didn't notice him. If the tin soldier had only called out, "Here I am," they must have found him. But he did not think it fitting for him to cry out because he had on his uniform. Soon it began to drizzle. Then the drops came faster. There was a regular downpour. When it was over, 2 little street boys came along. We're going to pause there, and I want you to take a moment to go back in the video, even mute it if you must, and reread the story again so that you can answer in the comments below this question. From which point of view is this story being told? Why? So, as I said, if you need to go back in the video and mute so that you can just read, please do that now. And then in the comments below, I would love to see your answer to this question. If you're using a parent's YouTube account, please feel free to just put your name, for example, Amber, and then put your answer to the question. Can't wait to read your answers, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.